Okay, now we're recording. Hello, everybody. I was just saying we are on week 5, so we're going to hit publish on your quizzes today or sometime very soon, maybe. And we're going to talk about where you can launch and how you can promote your quiz. What I was going to say just before hitting record was I just want you all to remember that just because you've published your quizzes doesn't mean everyone's going to suddenly find your website or start taking it, right? A big part of this is also promoting your quiz so that people can see it. And there's different little tricks and best practices that you can use, both organic and paid ads to run to your quiz. Sorry, I got a pop-up and I want to make sure somebody wasn't waiting to get in. Organic traffic ads you can run to your quiz. And also I would love to hear from you all if you've already been promoting your quiz or as you do promote your quiz in the future, what's working best for you, because we can add that back into the coaching decks. We can talk about it in the community because we're really all here to help each other have the best quizzes possible. All right. So the agenda for today is how to publish and share your quiz and maybe one day go viral, how to use your question analytics to optimize your quiz, and then using the quiz to personalize your marketing. So how can we use the quiz to get really specific in those marketing messages that you're sending out? Justina said she's told people the quiz is coming and they're excited about that. I love it. Justina, I'm curious, where are you sharing that? How are you sharing it?
I've told people within a couple of groups that I'm in. I serve people who are other service providers who book clients, and they have the biggest question of, I don't really know what the first step is to take to my marketing. So I've said, well, I have a quiz that's going to be, helping give you some guidance on some things to consider for your first step. And they're really excited about that.
Love that. That's a really great way to sort of like build up some anticipation, sort of like creating a wait list for your offer, right? But not really making a wait list, just getting people excited for when it comes out so that when it does, they're ready to take it. And what Justina said is really cool because that's sort of like using market research and speaking specifically to what it is that your people want. That's the reason they're going to take the quiz. So that's really cool. Thank you for sharing that. All right, before we get started, I love to check in with everybody. So Dan, you hit publish. Justina, you're almost there. Any questions before you hit publish or things you want to talk about before we get started today? All good. Patricia, how's the quiz coming along?
My client decided that she didn't want to do it, so now I'm going to do it for myself, and I have a co-working session this week that I'm going to work on it. So
lovely. Love it. Cool. Keep us posted on progress, how it goes. You might be starting, I think you're starting from the beginning with your own quiz, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So if you have to come, I was actually just telling Maria on the call, if you do want to join another coaching session as you go through that, that's always an option.
Yeah, and I missed the week 3 live, so I want to see that live.
Oh, cool. Okay, perfect. So the next one for you that might be good to join starts on February 9th. I don't think I have the link up in the quiz collective yet, but it's coming. And if you want to join and you haven't seen the link yet, just shoot me an email and make sure you get added to it. And that goes for everybody on the call or watching the replay.
Same time too? Is it 1 o'clock? Or
they rotate. No, February 9th might even be no, you're right. Yeah, because this is week 5. So the next new session will replace this one. So it'll be same time. Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
Yep. And then Ellen, hello, mine is published, but I will revise before I promote. That's great, Ellen. I also want to remind you and everybody on the call, because I heard someone say something similar of like, I'm almost ready to publish, but there's some changes that I want to make beforehand. Just remember, get your quiz 70% of the way there, hit publish, because you're going to learn a lot from the analytics on like how people react to your quiz, if they subscribe, if they take your calls to action, and using that information to optimize your quiz can be really, really impactful. So I'm not saying don't make changes before you hit publish, right? Like be comfortable with getting it out the way that it looks. But remember, it does not have to be perfect because you're going to be able to optimize it over time. It's super easy to make changes within your quiz. And I'm going to show you today how to do that so that if it's embedded or if you have links shared anywhere, that all gets updated really quickly if you make little changes. Cool. And also remember, especially Ellen, if you're ready for some feedback on it, you can share your quiz in the quiz feedback channel in the quiz collective, and we can all give it a review for you all before you send it out to your audience. Cool. And then Maria, we spoke before we hit record. You have a couple of quizzes in the works. You might be starting something new. So you're similar to Patricia here, where you might join another quiz coaching session. So as always, everybody pop in the chat, stop me at any time if you have questions, but let's talk about publishing your quiz. So the first thing I would suggest to do is get your quiz up on your website. And this is especially true for anybody who's used the quiz topic of I'm asking a question that my audience typically already asks me, right? So if somebody is like putting some question or searching for something into Google, and that's the thing that you help with, and that's like what's going to get you found, then put the quiz on your website, because that's a really big game changer for sort of building a connection with somebody before you even get their email. Also, like we talked about in, I believe it was week 2, Henry's House of Coffee did something similar, and this was really, really great for increasing their newsletter conversions simply by adding that quiz to the cover of their website. And last thing on this, the people who are showing up to your website are typically interested in what you have going on already anyways. So they are very likely to take the quiz. They're a bit of a warmer lead rather than running like a cold ad, or rather getting cold audience from an ad or something like that. Okay. Dan knows my issues with Wi-Fi this week, so I have a little video for you. I hope this plays, and if it doesn't, we'll figure it out. But here, I just want to show you how to hit publish. So in case you missed the beginning part of it here, when you're in your quiz, you're going to hit the publish button right over here in the corner, and then this pop-up will appear. So Ellen, let's just say you're going through, you're revising your quiz and you want to make a few changes, but you're not ready to publish that live yet. What you can do is just hit save and exit. If you hit save and exit, all of the changes that you've made will be in the builder. They'll stay in the builder, but they won't be reflected wherever you have your quiz link shared or embedded, right? And this is, I guess, more so for not just for Ellen, but like more so after you've published your quiz and you start using your analytics to optimize it or make updates. If you want to do that slowly, or you don't have time to finish, right, you can just come in here, hit save and exit, so everything is in the builder, but it's not reflected wherever you already have your quiz shared. When you're ready, in this case, let's say you were hitting publish for the first time, you want to hit publish changes so that you can get this embed code and get the link to start sharing and getting people into the quiz. So now I think I hit pause because I allowed myself time to say all of that. Let's see if I can skip ahead a little bit. And of course, now it froze. All right, hold on, everybody. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, I'm not going to force this because I don't want to break anything over here. But what would happen after you hit publish and then publish changes is you'll get another pop-up, and that will give you, there's like sort of a menu out over to the left. Oh, yay, here it is. Okay. So you have share link. If you were to click on that tab, it gives you the link that you can copy. You can use this to share on, like within a button. You can use it to share on social media, anywhere that you would want to put a link or link out to your quiz, blog posts, things like that. If you want to embed the quiz on a landing page or on your website specifically, you would click on the embed code tab, the embed code appears, and then you would just copy and paste that into your website builder, whichever platform you're using. Here, what it's showing you is if you want to create an announcement bar, so that's something that would be like at the top of the page, right? You can create that right from here. You can also create it in your own website platform. So if you're more familiar with doing it there, that's fine. But this is an option if you're not. You can create the announcement bar, change up the color, the font, button color, things like that. And then you also have the option of creating a pop-up. And so that would be if once somebody landed on your website or on your landing page or something, a pop-up would appear asking them if they wanted to take the quiz. And then same thing, you have options to change up the color. You can put a delay on it. So like after they're on the page for so long, how long does it take to pop up? You can also put something like a hiatus. So let's say I visit your webpage often. If I saw the quiz pop up today, maybe I wouldn't see it for the next 7 days, because that would probably make for a better user experience rather than every time the same person is coming to your site, they're getting the same pop-up, especially if they've already taken the quiz. Cool. So I think the biggest thing to note here, just remember, is when you hit publish, you'll get that first pop-up of publish changes or save and exit. If you're making changes that you want to be reflected through the link or wherever the quiz is embedded, make sure you hit publish changes again. If you hit save and exit, it will only save the changes within the builder, but not wherever the quiz is already shared live. All right, and then so just some examples of what this can look like. This is Shanti Zach's website. So right here at the top is that announcement bar. So what type of quiz should you create for your business? You can click there and it opens the quiz. And then we have, I believe this was in week 3 when we talked about questions and segmentation. This is the gal Casey who did what's your teacherpreneur type. And so within her website, it's at the top, I think, but also further down the page here, it's sort of these like things to get started. And so you can get a guide, you can get some secrets, but you can also take the quiz. So it's an option there. And then I think you guys saw this one already, but Henry's House of Coffee right up at the top. So this is an example of one of those quiz questions that's what people are already asking them, right? Like, which coffee should I buy? So if you click here, need help picking coffee, get matched, that takes you to the quiz and opens it. Before we talk about sharing your quiz, any questions on hitting publish or getting it up on your website? All good? Cool. Okay, so other places you can share your quiz, good old Facebook. So Facebook, you can use ads, but you definitely don't have to. We've seen some quizzes go viral or just get a lot of organic traffic, depending on the way people shared them, but all done organically, not used through ads. The reason Facebook ads work so well is because, or can work so well, I should say, is because you can create a lookalike audience from your email list to promote the quiz to. So if you're doing that, especially if your audience is buying from you, they're subscribing, they're taking your calls to action, they're really bought in, right? Like you're really giving them what they need. If you find people just like them, those people are very likely to take action, subscribe to your offerings and all of that. So that's where Facebook ads really comes in handy, of being able to target people that are similar to people who are already on your email list or people who are already loving you. I'm not going to talk too much about Facebook ads today because we have a dedicated channel for that. Ashley Chanel in the community runs the Facebook ads support channel. So she's our expert there. And if you're thinking about using a Facebook ad, the best place to start is with Ashley's expert session. So we did this back in August of last year. I think she recorded this, and you can either access, so you just got an email today, you should have on the Pinterest session Liesl did yesterday. So same as your weekly replays, you're going to get a link that lets you access all of the expert session replays. So you can access it from that email, or in the Quiz Collective bottom left corner, that same link is there, expert session and events replays it's called, and you can access her Facebook ads expert session there. I feel like I just said session 1,000 times. All right. So in that session, or in that expert session, she does a demo that walks you through exactly how to create an ad. So step by step, you can see her screen clicking through. So that's why we say it's the best place to start. But she also talks about targeting in that session, and also on that landing page of the different expert sessions we've run. She just recently did one on getting crystal clear on your targeting audience. So like, who is it that you're really trying to speak to? And so you can also watch, if you're trying to figure out who am I targeting this ad to, or who is it for, you could also watch that session on the same page to get some ideas on who and how to target specifically for your people. Okay, enough about Facebook. So Instagram, really great places to add your quiz link would be within the bio, in different posts, in different stories, maybe play around with reels. And again, this is really going to depend on like where your audience hangs out, right? So if you know posts work better than stories, then try that. If you know reels work better than posts, try that, right? And if you don't know, try them all. And I would also recommend trying to set up a regular cadence of promoting the quiz, because the more often you do it, like just putting one post out there might not, I think the stat is like when you post, about 10% of your audience actually sees it. So setting up a regular cadence will allow more people to see it. And if you invite them, actually I'm getting ahead, that's the next slide, I'll stop there. All right, so if you're posting, if you're sharing in your stories, just make sure that you're telling people where they can find the quiz so that they can go click and get into it, right? So that would be important. In your bio, I've seen people put the quiz link directly, like maybe with some emojis, like take this quiz or like find out X, right? Whatever your quiz topic is on. I've also seen it work really well where you have like a link tree type thing in your bio, and then it's one of the links that they have in there. So you could just say like quiz link in bio or something like that. So just make sure you're letting them know where it is so that they can find it. And then when you're posting, this would be on any platform, Facebook, Instagram, really anywhere that you're sharing. And this is what Justina sort of touched on in the beginning, is remember your customer research here. So talk about the pain points that they're feeling, talk about the struggles that they're having, talk about the transformation that you're going to help them overcome, talk about the ideal state of like the places that they really want to get to, or like what it is that they really want to achieve, because speaking to all those things, just like in the quiz, is going to get people to want to take it. Right? And then I already jumped to this one already. So yeah, post about it regularly. And then, like I said, again, I'll say, you never know where people might see these posts. So I would try advertising it everywhere so that you can see what works best. All right. So this is what I was going to say. Let me stop. And I was getting ahead of myself. When you do share the quiz, ask people to reshare it for you and also tag you. So if they, ask them what result that they got, ask them if the result that they got resonated, if there were any big takeaways. And when they do share your post or tag you, engage with them, because that's really how the algorithm works. No matter how much it changes, it always prioritizes engagement. And so, like reaching back out to them or having that conversation with them not only starts to build your relationship more, right? Like now you have their email, you also have this information about them, but you're chatting with them one-on-one in socials. But also the algorithm will help, the engagement helps out the algorithm in terms of visibility as well. One thing I want to add here is so we say often, like when someone takes the quiz, have them share the result that they got. And then that should encourage their followers to take the quiz to see what they are too, right? But something that comes up a lot is some people have really personal or confidential quiz results where you wouldn't want to share that necessarily with the world, right? So if that's the case, you could just ask people to share on like the topic and just share the quiz itself. So rather than sharing the specific results page that they got or like the result that they got, they could just share the quiz. I think a good example of this is like people who are working in the mental health field. They really don't want, like people who are taking a mental health quiz aren't really going to want to share the result that they got. It's very personal. But mental health is a huge topic online. So just asking your audience to reshare like, hey, support is out there. I took this quiz, see if it can help you too, kind of thing, can be just as impactful as opposed to having to share like the personal results that you might get. Does that make sense? Cool. And then also in the quiz collective, so this came up just the other day in a different coaching session where somebody had built so in the Interact Builder, you can add a tag to, it's in social share settings, which I should probably put a slide in here to show you all this. Let me see if I can. No, I don't have an image of it. Okay, so when you are editing your quiz, there's a social share settings tab over on the left menu, like where you would edit your cover, your questions, your results, all that. Further down is social share settings. And so that allows you to put a button on your quiz where people can reshare to Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, I believe are the three that are working right now. And so basically, if you were to enable that, somebody would get to their results, they would click that button, and it would open the post that they would create on Facebook saying, hey, this is the result I got, take the quiz too. So what came up the other day was somebody had created their results pages on their own URLs. So they didn't use the Interact result pages within the builder. And they were asking how they could add a button to their page. So in order for someone to reshare the result they got. So if that's you, I just posted, it was from Jared. I just posted in the Quiz Collective Launch and Promote channel, how to add that button to your own URL landing pages. I will make sure that I add that into this deck because I think that's an important thing. I think a lot of people are using your own URLs or your own pages for the results. But if you have any questions, because I don't have an image of it right now, if you have any questions or are wanting to do that, let me know and I can point you to the post. Otherwise, it's probably one of the last ones that were just posted in the launch and promote channel. Okay, so other places you can share your quiz. I want you all to think about where your audience, where your audience already is. So where do they hang out? And wherever that is, that's where you want to share the quiz, because that's where your people are. Maybe that's on LinkedIn, maybe that's on Clubhouse, Pinterest, Reddit, maybe it's something entirely different. But same sort of concept as to when you're sharing on Instagram and Facebook, you want to speak to your customer research. So the pain points, the desires, the goals, the struggles in the post. So it's really compelling people to want to take the quiz. And then just remember, set up or try to set up a regular cadence. So you can absolutely reuse the same post, maybe like create, right? If you created 4 posts about your quiz, you could set them each up once a month. So yeah, 4. Okay, terrible at math here, everybody. If you had 4 posts, that would be, and you set them up like 1 week after another, right? So 1 post a week, that's what I'm trying to say. But then you had it reoccur for a couple of months. That's like 3 months worth of posting about your quiz just by creating 4 simple posts that you can reuse. And like I said, that could go anywhere. It could go Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Clubhouse. Really think about where your people hang out, and that's where you want to share. Ellen asked in the chat, how would you share on Clubhouse, on homepage or in a room? Ellen, that is a great question. I don't use Clubhouse, but there is a girl, Brittany, who is in the quiz collective that we've asked her this before. And I'm trying to remember because it was a while ago. I want to say there's like a bio type area within Clubhouse, and she did something, yeah, definitely in your bio. Okay. And she definitely put it in there, but she had some other tricks. So let me find the post in the quiz collective where we chatted about this, or you could probably even search Clubhouse and it would come up, and I'll tag you and get you in touch with her. Brittany Hertzberg is her name, because she saw some success with sharing on Clubhouse. So we sort of used her tactics there. And then Dan says in the chat, people go straight to bio every time they care about what you're up to. Okay, cool. And Justina, same thing. There's a bio type, but I don't believe it's clickable. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, let me for sure find out what Brittany was talking about, where she was sharing it. And then I'll, you know what? I think I'll just include it. Here's what I'm going to suggest. Search Clubhouse in the quiz collective. It's not clickable, Ellen said. Okay, so search Clubhouse in the quiz collective and the post should come up. If it doesn't, let me know and I'll make sure we get an answer on that. We can start talking about using Clubhouse in the community. Okay, and then I should probably add a slide for this too. Gosh, we're always evolving. Just yesterday, like I mentioned, we did a Pinterest expert session. And so it was just like Liesl talked about from the very beginning, like scheduling your first pin ever, creating an account, right? All the way up to running a Pinterest ad. So that expert session is also in that replay landing page with the Facebook ads expert session. So if anybody's interested in running ads or starting to use Pinterest, you can watch that replay. And I just started a thread on sort of like calling in everybody who's using Pinterest to see what other ideas we can come up with together. So that would actually be a really great idea if somebody wanted to talk more about LinkedIn or Clubhouse, start a thread in the launch and promote channel, and we can use that as a space to sort of share best practices with each other, ask questions specific to these different platforms. Okay, and then one other exciting feature that we've recently launched is Jessie, who is our social content manager, is releasing templates within the builder that you can use exactly as is or completely change up so that you can start promoting your quiz. So here's a screenshot of that. It's in the template library here. If you click on that, you'll see these different cards of templates that you can use. And so all you'd have to do is click on the one that you like. There's new ones in there now. She's dropping, I believe, 4 new ones every month, but you would click on the one that you like. It opens the file in Canva, so you can have a free account and do this, and then you can change up your brand colors, your font, your quiz, images, all of that within Canva. Save that and then use these images as your posts, as your stories, all of that on your platforms. Something that's coming is we're going to run, Yvonne in the community is going to run a Canva workshop. So helping you get started. She's going to talk about all of the features that Canva offers. I didn't even know this, but I guess you can actually schedule your social media posts right from Canva. So she's going to talk through how to do all of that fun stuff, the differences between the free and the pro plan. We had to reschedule the session, so I don't have a date for it yet, but it is coming. Probably this month-ish, I would say February or March for sure. But then once we run I'm waiting for the Canva session just so that I don't know, actually, let me know what you all think. I was going to wait for the Canva session in order to do this workshop I have an idea for, but maybe we don't need it. So the workshop that I'm thinking of running would be like an hour-long code session, just like this, right, where we're all live, and we use these templates to create 1, 2, 3, 4, however many you want, schedule them out so that by the end of the workshop, you have X amount of days or weeks or months of content that is ready to promote your quiz. Love the faces. Okay, the reason I think that we should do that, and I'm glad you're all excited about it, is because I find that a lot of times, Ellen, what is that? I love that. Where has that been all 5 weeks of coaching? Her smiley face stick. I love it. Yes. What are these? I need these. Oh my gosh, so fun. This is your negotiating style, isn't it? Love it. Now I got distracted because I loved Ellen's little props so much. No, you're good. You're good. Okay, so we'll do a workshop like that. Oh, that's what I was saying, because what I find is that these coaching sessions really help people get a quiz published by the end of the 5 weeks or very close to being published. And we can use the community or additional sessions to get you there. But then I hear a lot of people coming back like, hey, my quiz isn't working, or nobody's taking it, or nobody wants to take it. And when I ask, okay, where have you shared it? It's like, oh, I posted it once on Facebook. That doesn't really work. It can, right? Like it can if you get the right people to take it right away. But a big part of this is telling people, promoting the quiz itself so that people see it, whether that be organically or via ads. So I want to run this workshop to see if that starts to help, because I know there's so many things that you guys are busy doing that I think if you had like a 1 hour time slot on your calendar to have X amount of days or weeks or months of content ready to go that's promoting your quiz, I think it would really help you to see better results. So the question was, do you feel like you need a Canvas session before we start that, or should we just start the workshops?
I feel like that's a 2 for 1.
Yeah.
I use Photoshop because I'm a designer, but I use Canva all the time too because it's quick and easy. So like getting that knowledge plus the quiz information, I think it would be, I would totally show up for it, sure.
Yeah,
Cool.
I think 2 for 1 is a good idea.
Perfect. All right. I will work on getting the first one planned then. Very exciting. All right. So I wanted to show you about this channel. And then, yes, other options of sharing your quiz. And these slides all have been added from ideas that people have had or people have used in coaching. So when we get to this point and we talk about it, or in the quiz collective, people have shared different ways that they've gotten people to take their quizzes, and QR codes came up. So QR codes can be really great for your business cards, for bulletin boards, or maybe even like brick and mortar businesses. This idea specifically came from a gal named Faith in the community. And so Faith does a lot of in-person speaking engagements. And after she's done speaking, all of the people try to ask her questions or like come up to her and ask her different things, right? So what she did was created a QR code that linked directly to her quiz, and she put it on her business card so that as people came up to her at the end of the session, sorry, that was the dog. As people came up to her at the end of the session, she could just give out her business card. They could easily on their smartphone scan the QR code, start taking the quiz. And then when she had follow-up conversations with them, or maybe she just reached out back out to them or something from the conference as a thank you or whatever, she had information about them if they took the quiz, right? She could speak specifically to different ways that they've answered her questions. So this worked really well for her. There's also a gal in the community named Heather who went to, it was, I believe, like an expo, like a trade show expo kind of thing. And so she had made QR codes and placed them on different tables throughout the event. And she was really funny. She specifically said she didn't put any like titles on the QR codes. She just dropped the the QR code alone in different places because she thought people get more curious that way. Like they don't know what they're getting into. So they would just scan it and they ended up taking it because it was just something to do and it was there. She kind of had them maybe like in the break rooms or something, or like coffee areas of this expo that she went to. And she does also have a post in the Quiz Collective where she talks more about that. So you can look for Heather. I forget her last name. And there's probably a lot of Heathers in there, but Heather Landex is her name. And she's in food service. So her quiz is specifically about inclusivity in food service. All right, other ideas for this, maybe in your local town or area, or maybe you partner with local businesses like that are like in-person places, right? Maybe they have a bulletin board or something that you could put this QR code on and share around there. So think of different places that people would go or that they would want to take the quiz. And that's where you want to put the QR code. Okay. And I see we have some chats. Let's see. Yes. Okay. That's a good point. And I agree with Justina. Anywhere digitally that you're asking someone to take the quiz, I would just share the link directly, because if they're already on the computer or their phone, all they would have to do is click it and they could start taking it right away. If, let's just say, you shared it digitally and they were on a computer, they'd have to get their phone, scan the computer, and then take the quiz on their phone when they could have just clicked and started taking it on the quiz on the computer right away. So that's a good point. So that was good. Thanks for bringing that up, Ellen, because that's a good call out. Google My Business, Patricia, never has come up. I would love to know how that works. Yeah, because I know there's especially, I mean, you probably definitely want to link your website there, right? But I feel like are there other fields that you can link out to other things? I don't know. But I think that could be really cool to put it on Google My Business. You can create posts. Yeah. If you do that, Patricia, I would love to hear how that goes, because that's exactly the type of example of something that I haven't heard of before, but that could very likely benefit a lot of you. And we could include into this, the community, into the coaching deck so that more people try doing this type of thing. I really like that idea. All right. And then another idea is sharing on podcasts. So this idea specifically came from a guy named EA from Givers University. And so he is attending a lot of, I think like almost one every day, a lot of podcasts where he's being featured on other people's podcasts. And so at the end of the podcast, he'd have a little spiel that if anybody wanted to get in touch with him, here's how they would do so. And the way to do so was through the link of his quiz. And so he would drop them the quiz link. He would put it into the show notes, or whoever podcast he was on would put it into the show notes. And that way, when people did reach out to him, right, because they were asking, how can we get in touch with you? The only way to get his information was through the quiz. When people did reach out, again, he had information on them already based on the way that they were answering those quiz questions. So it was sort of an easier follow-up because he knew about them already, rather than just having a cold conversation with somebody who was reaching out. So this worked, that sort of method worked really, really well for him.
Can I add a little something there?
Yeah, please.
Totally a duh moment that was pointed out to me by someone a few weeks ago is buying unique domains for this exact purpose. So I have the domain takemyquiz.video and also danhaslinks.com. So these are things that are easy to say and someone can actually maybe remember it. So just a little heads up there that could work.
Yep, no, that's a really great point. I've heard, just as like an alternative to that, Bitly is maybe a good resource there because it shortens links for you. Just be careful if your link is like VGL3/ like nobody's going to remember that. It's super hard to type in, right? So I like what you're saying, Dan.
Yeah, most of those take I won't derail us too far, I promise. Most of those take a secondary domain. So you can buy a secondary domain. So oneminmedia.com is my website, but onemin.media is actually a domain I own. And so all my shortened links are onemin.video/ and English, something I wrote in. So there are ways around that too to use Bitly. I use Rebrandly, but they do the same thing. If anyone ever needed help with that, let me know. But yeah, you can get pretty creative and get some earworms out there.
Very cool. Great idea, Dan, from Ellen in the chat. Yeah, I like that a lot. And guys, you know, we're always looking for new expert sessions. So if we need an expert session on something like that, let us know. If you're an expert in it, Dan, maybe I'll be calling on you. But if you're an expert in it, or if you want to see it, because the more demand or noise that I hear around a certain topic, those are the sessions that get planned first.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Dan, so you have a unique URL, and then would you replace your quiz every couple of years at that particular URL, or is that the URL and it's always going to be that particular quiz?
For this one, because I'm looking at long-term, it would be this quiz, but really it's just a redirect. I'm still going to put everything on my website, but when they put in that URL, they'll automatically come to my website and not know it unless they're paying attention to the address bar.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the shortening is cool because then you can make 100 links and they're all based off that secondary domain. So if you know you don't want to do a lot of quizzes or quizzes change often, I'd go that route. And if it's just one or two, I would do the.
Right. Okay. Okay. I get that now. Okay. Thanks.
Great ideas. Okay, so now we're going to get into the super fun stuff, which is using your segmentation to follow up with your people in email marketing. And I won't leave that GIF up for too long because that's crazy with the lights. But before we keep going, any questions on publishing, sharing, where to share, how to share your quiz, or anybody have any other ideas on like what you were thinking when it comes time to sharing your quiz that you want to share with the group?
I'll share really quick an email that you sent me earlier, which was super helpful, was because my quiz is just published, but I only have one results page that's done because I really wanted people to weigh in on that before I kind of duplicated it to my other results pages. And you were like, yeah, just copy and paste that results page into a Google Doc. That way it can be live, people can test it, but also see your standalone results page and tweak that too. And I was like, oh yeah, of course. So that's super helpful. And that's the way I'm going to do it.
Cool. So that specifically, just so everybody knows, was Dan was looking to share for quiz feedback, but he wanted you to see one specific result, right? So rather than changing up the quiz so that you all got the same result, you can just copy your results page if you're using it in the builder right into a Google Doc or some sort of document that you can shareable document that you can drop into the quiz collective. If you are using your own URLs for the quiz, so like Erica, I know all of her results pages are on her own URLs. Then if you just wanted us to look at one, you could just share that URL so that we could see it. Something we're going to talk about email marketing, but I'm going to say this anyways. Something that you can do in your email marketing is well, let me start here. The biggest difference, or I guess reason that somebody would build their results page out in the builder versus on their own URL, their own domain, is this seems to be the biggest like use cases. So within the builder, there's limited functionality in terms of like there's one font, there's only certain heading sizes you can use. You can't embed videos throughout the page. Yes, you can put links and pictures. There's only one button that goes at the bottom. So if that format works for you, great. That's exactly where I would start, especially if you're just getting started with the quiz and you're just wanting to get it out there to get some feedback. You can always move the you can always move the results to your own URLs later, but just to get the quiz out there, I'd probably start with the pages in the builder. Keep it simple, right? When you're ready to get more creative on the results page, if you want to set up a little bit more like analytics of like what people are doing on the results pages, links that they're clicking, what they're like, like what they're clicking into or whatnot, maybe like the heat map of like where their eyes are drawn to or what they're looking at, that's where I would start using your own URLs to do that. The other reason people put their results pages on their own URLs is because in that first email that you're following up with them, just like, I'm going to talk about what the first email can look like. But when you send that first email, if you wanted to remind somebody of the result that they got, you could share your URL so they could open the results page back up without having to go through the quiz again. The quiz, like the link of the quiz, it starts every time you click it or refresh it, it starts at the quiz start. So if you wanted somebody to like go in and look at their results page and it was built in the builder, they would have to click through or like retake the quiz in order to see the results page. A workaround to that is also using Google Docs. So outside of the community, if your people are taking the quiz, the results are built in the builder, but you want to sort of give them, like re-inform them or remind them of the result that they got, I would just put it into a Google Doc, maybe as a PDF. Well, You could use it as a PDF. I've also seen somebody put it into a Google Doc so that they could sort of have it as a worksheet. So like, hey, just a reminder, here's your result. But then like in the quick win section, I think there was like some journaling prompts or something they were offering. So she added lines on the Google Doc for someone to like actually fill that out. Kind of becomes like a resource for them. So I hope that makes sense. Maybe I was rambling too much about that, but you could reshare if your results pages are built in the builder, you could easily put that into a Google Doc and share it with your leads as sort of a reminder of, hey, those are your results in case you forgot them. Cool. Okay, so let's go on to email marketing. So remember this question from week 1, what would you do with a big email list full of qualified leads who know, love, and trust you? And this is where you want to use what you've learned from the quiz to get specific with your audience and really personalize your marketing. So what is a welcome sequence? And so as Laura Bell Gray says, the only bad welcome sequence is not having one at all. And in general, the first email that you send after somebody subscribes to your freebie or takes the quiz, whatever it is, right after they first subscribed, the first email is typically the one that is most opened. So you want to make it count so that people want to keep coming back. So how do you make it count? What do you include in that first email? So these are all great email sequence tips that you can use to get your lead to know, love, and trust you so that when you're ready to sell to them, they're ready to buy from you. So you can welcome your new subscribers, and just a reminder, you'll get the slides so you don't feel like you have to write everything down, but you can, of course. So you could welcome your new subscribers to your community, let them know what they can expect from you. You can weed out anybody who's not a good fit. So literally inviting them to unsubscribe if it's not somebody that you want to work with. And that might sound a little scary, especially if you're using the quiz for lead generation and you're wanting to grow your list. But if there's people on there that aren't going to be engaged, that really aren't a fit for you, that you can't help, do you really want them to be there? And that's not, you don't have to answer that, but that's just a question I want you all to think about is, do you want the lead on your list? If it works and you want them to stay, great, but it's okay to invite them to unsubscribe if you've learned something about them that you realize, hey, this isn't a good fit. Because also that really saves the lead a lot of time too. Hey, I saw you take this quiz and I can't really help you. Or maybe, maybe I can in the future, or until you get to this point in your business, I can't really help you right now. Here's maybe some other resources, or I know a friend who does X, Y, and Z, right? And that person, that would build, at least for me, so much value that when I got to that point that I was ready to work with you, or if something changed and I was ready to work with you, I'll be like, remember when you told me to leave because you couldn't help me? That saved me so much time. I'm ready to work with you now, kind of thing. That lead would come back. All right, and then you can share about who you are, what you're all about, your story, why you care, how you can help them, and what you value as a brand. And also I want to say, you don't have to include all of these things in one email, right? These are just ideas. Always be disqualifying. Great. Okay, so you all agree in the chat. Yes, and Justina said, if there's a good referral partner that you have, that's an opportunity to build value for both partners and sort of refer to each other. And I've been digging deep into, or just thinking a lot about affiliate links lately. And so that would be a great opportunity for you to use affiliate links to send them to the right places or resources that they would need to start with. PS Interact has an affiliate link. So if that's coming to make a quiz, get an affiliate link and drop that in there. All right. So you can affirm that you understand what your new subscriber is going through by reflecting back to them what they discovered through your quiz, right? So now you've learned this, how do we go forward from here? And then in that first post-quiz email, you can elaborate a little bit more on the results and get them really excited to solve whatever problem it is that they initially came to you for. So when doing this, ask yourself, what do they need to believe in order to buy from you? And that helps you bring that person step by step across that belief bridge of, okay, I'm ready to subscribe, or not subscribe, but I'm ready to buy into your offering, your course, whatever it is that you have in your funnel. Okay, so now I'm going to get specific on what you can include in your email welcome sequence. And so I'm not the email marketing expert, Dawn is. So this was written by Dawn, and so is Patricia. So Patricia, if you have anything to add, please let us know here. But this came from Dawn, and so what I'm going to show you now is a 5 email I always say this wrong, 5 email post quiz sequence. And then after I go through this, I'm also going to show you where Dawn dropped in the quiz collective a 3 email post quiz sequence that's more of a swipe file. So we'll get into that in a second. So this one, this is the 5 email sequence. This is email 1, and you want to typically send this email right away after the person has taken their quiz, especially if you've ended the results page with like, hey, go check your inbox for this, because it's top of mind. And that person, it sort of trains them to go open that email. That person is ready to go find your email and get whatever it is you told them you were going to be sending them. So here you can remind them of their results, deliver your freebie, or maybe it's the offer, maybe it's a resource to, again, get them across the belief bridge so that they're ready to buy eventually. You don't have to sell from email 1. This could just be an additional resource. Let them know how you can help them, and maybe, again, even invite them to unsubscribe if they're not the right fit. Let them know when they can expect to hear from you again. Again, that's going to sort of help train people to come back and want to find your emails if they know when to expect another one from you. And then try to open a loop to your next email to sort of create that anticipation of like, I can't wait to get email 2. So a call to action here could be hit reply and let me know how the quiz resonated. Or maybe it's share your quiz on social, tell your friends about the amazing result that you got, or something like that. Okay, email 2, you can send a day after email 1. And here's where you can talk even more about yourself. So tell your story, who you are, why you care so much. And then just like the bio that you've written or that you could write in your results page, which we recommend, you want to make sure that you're relating that story back to the person, to the lead. So, tell your story and who you are, but relate it back to how you can help them, how you're going to help them get to that ideal state or make that transformation. And then a call to action here could be to fill out a short open-ended survey. You can combine quizzes and surveys. And oh my God, Matt, our CTO, might kill me for saying this. He would never kill me. But I was on a call for our year end just earlier this week, I think it was. And we are launching either this quarter, but definitely this year, open-ended answers within the quiz. So you'll be able to sort of use the quiz, the interact tool, to build out surveys so that you can really collect voice of customer, which we talk about in week 1. So what is it that your people are saying? How are they saying it? So that you can use that language within your quiz, within your emails, within your website, testimonials, all of that. So we are very excited about that one. And the reason I say he would kill me, but he would never really kill me, is that he doesn't love when I announce tech launches, because you know what happens with tech launches, bugs, things happen, right? So it could be delayed. The plan is this quarter, but maybe I should have just said this year. It's coming soon, okay? And then I see in the chat, exciting. Yes, roadmap. Yes, it is on the roadmap. Very exciting. So what would you ask in these survey type questions? What's your big goal? What do you struggle most with? How would your life change if that was no longer the case? Because remember, these are all the things that you've incorporated into your quiz, into the questions, into the results pages. So this would help you optimize your quiz so that you're really speaking to your ideal client. All right, and then email number 3, send a couple days after email 2. And here, maybe you want to bust a common myth that people are always talking about in your industry. You could share a story or a testimonial of how you've helped your clients overcome that myth. And that really helps to build your authority. A call to action here could be to follow you on social media. The big question that we're always asked is, how soon can I sell, right? So have here e-commerce people or someone with the low ticket offer, maybe you want to try selling from this email to test it out. I would say if you're already selling an offering and it sells well to a cold audience, you can add that, you could sort of pitch that sale earlier on if it's already selling well to a cold audience. Maybe even from the results page. I know Ashley, our Facebook ads expert, sells a webinar, I believe it is, from her results, right from her results page. It's like between $100 and $200, and she gets clicks for it all the time, right from the results page. So it's not to say you can't sell on the results page. It's just something that you're going to want to try out. So maybe this is a 5 email, I always say this wrong, 5 email post quiz sequence, right? So maybe in email 3, this is where you want to start testing if somebody would want to buy your offering. Maybe it's before, maybe it's after. Remember, you can always make changes to this. Okay, and then email 4, send a few days after email 3. And then this, or here you can talk about what makes you different from other people or brands in your industry. How do you help people them into a webinar or something? Can everybody still hear me? You all froze on my side. We're good? Okay, thank God. My
You
internet
froze for
connection is
us too.
okay. Did I leave off at a certain point? Should I go back? Where did I cut out?
You cut off
Don't
right
really miss it.
after selling the webinar and that it's not impossible, but
Okay, yep. So all I was saying there, I turned my video off to hopefully help the Wi-Fi here, but all I was saying there is you don't have to wait till email 3. If you have a offer that sells well to a cold audience, try selling it earlier. But maybe at this point in your email sequence, because you're sending a total of 5 after they take the quiz in this case, maybe email 3 is where you want to try out making the sale. You can always change this later. So this is really something that you would want to test out with your audience to see what works best. Okay, and then I got frozen in the chat. Okay, that was too much. All right, so email number 4 is you can send a few days after email 3. And then here's where you can talk about what makes you different from other people or brands in your industry. How do you help people in ways that nobody else does to really keep building your authority? So a call to action here could be check out this blog post or a podcast, Clubhouse meetup, whatever it is that you have within your funnel that you want this person to do next. And again, when you're creating this out or like thinking through this, really just think like, what's the next easiest thing for this person to do so they can sort of take baby steps across this belief bridge. So when they get to the other side, they're super ready to want to work with you. So again, maybe email 4 is where you start playing around with selling your higher ticket offers or your big offer, whatever it is. From this email, you can test that out. And then for this sequence, this would be the last email, number 5. So send 5 days after email 4. Here you can talk about how you or your products can help people. How do you help people in ways that nobody else does to really build up your authority again, bring the value that you offer. And maybe you can focus on something specific or even list out the ways that you can specifically help this person. And especially if this is going to be the last email that you're sending them, push your product, your service, or book a call with you, whatever it is that you're offering to your people. Okay, before I take questions, I also want to show you another option for email sequences is if you go to copywriting support right here in the builder, over on the side is get your post quiz email templates here. If you click on that, this post will open and Dawn has created a document, a swipe file where like sections are highlighted. All you have to do is drop your information in there, like what it is that you want to tell your people. And she created a little Loom video for you on how to use that Google Doc. So I would say any questions on copywriting, if you want your emails to be reviewed, Dawn can do that right in the copywriting support channel. And if you already have emails that are written, right? So you don't have to use what the templates that we're giving you here. If you already have something written and want to get some eyes on it, you can share that also with Dawn in copywriting support. All right, any questions on anything that we've covered so far or anything else that's coming to mind?
Is the swipe file similar to what you just showed? Because I really liked what you just showed.
It's similar to what I just showed, except that what I just showed is in bullet form. So like you're really writing your own text in there, whereas the swipe file is written out emails that you're plugging your content into. So they're like a little more ready to go. And then the other difference would be that the swipe file templates in the community are 3 emails and the one I went through is 5. So a little bit longer of a sequence. But I would say for at least the first 2 emails, they're pretty similar in that email 1 is sort of like reaffirming what happened on their results pages, getting a little bit deeper, guiding them to the next step. And then email 2 is talking a little bit more about you to build up your authority, but then also relating it back to them, how you can help them. Any other questions?
I have a
Okay. I have a question around the timing of each email. Is it that it has to be, hello everyone, I'm sorry. I am like just diving in here. But is there a question, is there a reasoning behind the timing? Because when I built out my email sequence, it kind of started off as a result of what like conversations that I was having with people who may be my target audience, and thinking that maybe they wouldn't want to receive too many emails too soon after. So I did one a week, like every 7 days, excluding the weekends. But I'm just wondering what the psychology is behind like 3 days after, 2 days after, 5 days after, all of that stuff.
Yeah, good question. So Dawn definitely would give you a better answer. I see Patricia coming off mute, so she might already have one. But I think that the way it's written like that in those 5 email templates is you want the first one, you want to come right away. And then you want to be present in their inbox so that they remember you, but also not annoy them. So that's sort of like the 2, 3, 4 day like gap. So you're not waiting 7 days to get in touch with them again, but at the same time, you're sort of you're not sending them an email every single day.
I'd also elaborate on that to say that I would be really careful within the settings of your drip campaign to ensure that the people aren't getting multiple emails outside of the drip campaign. So for example, if you send a newsletter every week on Wednesday and you send, your blog posts go out every day on Friday, but they're also receiving this drip campaign at the same time, I would also put in some if-then parameters that make sure that they're not perhaps getting both of those things on the same day. Because I think it's really great to space those out, but sometimes people forget that 2 different things can overlap unintentionally too.
Okay, that's really helpful. I actually had that concern too. And I think that there's something else about how ConvertKit works, where I was playing around with it and trying to figure it out, but that was the consideration. I didn't know that you could pause the one from interfering with the other. So I guess I'll have to do some research on that. Thank you, Justina.
Yeah, I don't know if ConvertKit has it. I know I work mostly within MailChimp, but I'm assuming that it has the same pretty much capabilities where you can put in within the drip campaign, there's certain settings that you can say, make sure that they're not getting multiple ones at a time. So you shouldn't have to manually pause it. But yeah, I would dig into that a little bit.
I was just going to say that's also a question that you could ask the tech experts in the community. Just let them know what platform it is that you're using and what you want to set up, right? The use case, and then they can help you. They might have the answer right there for you. Cool. Anything else to add or any other questions? All right. So now I want to talk about optimizing your quiz. And so this is where we come back to the idea that this is an iterative process. So the first quiz that you launch is not going to be the last, right? Like this, just version 1 can change. It doesn't have to be perfect when you put it out there. I'm going to walk you through the growth plan again, because on the growth plan, you have access to question and answer analytics. So especially if people are falling out of your quiz after they've started it, but before they've completed it, you'll be able to see specifically where. So like what questions are they not answering and you're losing them on, so that you can fix that. So in here, if you look at your quiz, so this is maybe a bad screenshot, but this is when you open the builder, this is the quiz. You can click edit to make changes on it. Or if you hit analytics right here, it will open this overview tab of what your analytics look like. So this is showing you the total events breakdown so that you can see how many people have viewed your quiz, started your quiz, completed your quiz, and the number of leads that you collected from it. There is, when you open it up, I believe the default, so this was just for 1 day, this screenshot, but I believe the default is like in the past month, or it might be a week. So if you want to see all time or change to a specific date range, maybe you've made a change of a title or a picture that you're A/B testing, you can play with the date that you want to see, or the date range rather, that you want to see these stats or these analytics for. Okay, So if you, and actually also something very exciting, I haven't even read this yet. There is a new blog post that we launched that speaks specifically to analytics, meaning analytics, yes, but like sort of the benchmarks that you can compare your quiz to, because that's something that we're being asked all the time is like, are these numbers good? And we don't have industry specifics, which would help us answer that question a little bit better. But I should read the article. I shouldn't even brought it up, but it's in the collective. It just came out. And so if you're curious on how your analytics are performing against like other standards, you could check that article out. I'll probably look at it and add it into here. But anyways, something we're always asked is like, yeah, what do these analytics look like? Are they good? And so views means what I would look at is views to starts relate to the quiz cover page or the ad or the way that you're posting and sharing your quiz. So if people see it, are they clicking to actually start it? If they're not, like if you see a high drop off between views and starts, that's very likely that the topic doesn't resonate. Maybe they don't understand why they should take the quiz. They don't feel compelled enough to start it. So if you're seeing low views to starts, I would work on the cover page and am I back? You're all moving again. Okay, yay. Sorry about that, everybody. All I was saying, because I noticed that you froze, so I did stop talking there. I changed the slide, but I wasn't talking about that, I promise. All I was saying is low views to starts. Typically you want to look at where you're posting, what the cover looks like. Maybe this is also a great time to do a little bit more market research or talk to the people who have maybe not have completed your quiz, but people who are in your audience or ideal clients that you'd want to take your quiz to see like what is it that could be changed to get more people in to take it. All right, so then if you're seeing low starts to completions, that means the people have clicked in, they've started the quiz, great, but they're falling out somewhere within your questions. So I'm going to go into question analytics next, but this is really where you can look at your question analytics to see where specifically people are falling off. If you're on the light plan, it's sort of a guessing game, just trying to like figure out or play around with different scenarios of your questions so that you can get people through the quiz so they actually complete it. What completions means in this case is the person has actually seen the result page, where a lead is somebody who's left their actual email. So if your opt-in form, you're requiring someone to leave their email to get to the results, the number of completions and the number of leads will be the same. If your quiz opt-in form is optional, meaning they can skip leaving their email and still see the results, then you'll likely see higher completions and lower leads because people are getting to the results page, but they chose not to leave their email. So that'll just kind of give you an idea of, okay, somebody's gotten to the results page. How many of those people are leaving their information? How many people are subscribing? Okay, now I want to show you here, if you click on questions and answers, you get these question analytics. So a breakdown of the way your audience entirely is answering the question, but also where they're dropping off. So down here, you can see drop off. And so this you can again use to see, all right, if most people, or let's say you have 25% of your people are dropping off at question 1, maybe you move question 1 further down in the quiz. Typically, the further somebody gets into the quiz, the more likely they are to complete it. So those earlier questions are really important to have a low drop off, because you want people to, the further they get into the quiz, the more likely they are to complete it, which means you're more likely to get their email. So you can look at these and see, okay, do I want to move this around? Do I want to scrap the question entirely? Do I need to ask it in a different way? Do I need to make it more clear and concise? You can look at all of those things specifically. And then one thing I'll just say on the analytics is like this one here, question 1, it has 25% drop off, but that's only 3 people. So just be, like take that into account. Think about your audience size. 3 people might not be a big enough reason to change up your quiz or start making changes yet. Maybe if you only have 3 people, but let's just say, well, it's at 25%, right? So it's less people have taken it, but maybe you want to wait a little bit more, focus on getting more people to take the quiz before you actually make a change, because 25% sounds high, but if it's only 3 people, you don't want to make changes based off on like one use case or like one behavior. So then as you make changes, again, this is an iterative process. You don't have to do this all overnight or all at once. So make 1 or 2 changes at a time, publish it, and then come back to the quiz, monitor the analytics, see if the change did what you wanted it to do. And then you can keep testing and keep iterating so that eventually your quiz is perfect, right? Bye, Patricia. And Ellen says, is this page only on Pro? So if you are on the growth or the Pro model, you will have access to the question and answer analytics. If you're on Lite, you will have access to the overview page. And if you're on a free plan, you won't have access to any analytics. Okay. So then last week we spoke about using your quiz to segment your list. So if you use your questions or your results or both to tag people in your email marketing, then you can use that information to send out personalized stories, testimonials, offers to people based on what you know about them. So Dan's quiz is on video, right? If you have people who are complete beginners and you have people who are more experts with all of the equipment. Those are 2 very different conversations that you would have with the person. So use that now that you know where they're at in this sort of journey, video journey, use that to speak specifically to them based on what they're at, because that's really what this is all about. Meaning like using the quiz and the segmentation, because personalized marketing, you can see up to a 760% increase in revenue or your ROI simply by getting more specific within your, or rather segmenting your email marketing campaigns. You could even, so we talked about testimonials, the specific testimonials that you're giving people could even be based on your segmentation, right? So if you know somebody's a complete beginner and you've just worked with a complete beginner, sending them that testimonial as opposed to somebody who's an expert and loved what you did, right? That maybe I would think, well, they're much further beyond, like they're way ahead of me. I don't know all that they knew when I started, so Dan wouldn't be able to help me, kind of thing. Okay, and then I will end with, remember, this is the long game, so you are in it to win it. Congratulations, everybody, for making it to week 5 and getting so close, or maybe you already have, hitting publish on your quiz. We really want you to get it out there, start testing, and absolutely post any questions, any findings, best practices in the community, because we're really all here to help each other out in this. So your action steps, your homework for this week is to publish your quiz and then keep us posted in the quiz collective with how it's going and where you may need more support. And I just want to show you a screenshot of the community here. So right now we're in week 5, launch and promote. So you can share any best practices, any wins in here. You can also come back to any of these coaching channels if you're still stuck on questions or you're still working through your results. Come through these channels again and we'll help you get there. And then, as I mentioned a couple times today, I think you can always rejoin another quiz coaching session simply from this link here, join quiz coaching. Any other questions for me today? Sorry, you can't see my GIF, or I can't see the GIF. I don't know if it loaded, darn. But any other questions before we go?
This is super good. I was going to see if I could share my page for 2 seconds just to show a visual, because I just published today.
I would love
and
it.
Everyone here, this will go into the community very soon for everyone to come and help me tear it apart and put it back together. But this just had me excited because
I just love your voice. Like, it's like the, now my team wants to scream, but it's like the perfect, like, calming podcast.
I appreciate it. I hear that sometimes and it makes me feel good because I'm helping people make video, which can be pretty stressful. So I'm happy to be able to bring a little bit of calm.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is, I don't have to go through my page. I'll put it in the community, but I just wanted to show a video up top and what I was able to do with my thumbnail and stuff. It just got me excited to know that someone can get this result and hit play and I can talk right to them. and they can already see that being a beginner is okay. You know, so just wanted to share that real quick.
You want to show more? I want to see the whole thing.
Sure. Yeah, this is the one that's finished. So
I'm reading, that's why I'm quiet, everybody. Yeah, so I really like in the top part how you're staying positive. Again, you're reflecting what you know about them back to them. You know that they're just getting started in this. Keep reading for links to. Awesome. And then I like how you're using the section break. So like that line there and the different headers, because that really helps people to keep reading down the page. I think I've said this throughout the sessions, but like I'm one of those people where if I run into a block of text online, I just literally cannot move forward. I close out and I can't keep going. But this makes it so much easier for me. If I didn't want to read the first chunk, I could skip down to getting these awesome resources to start helping me. Or if I didn't want to read it all, I could just watch the video.
yeah, I thought of you while I finished this.
Love it. Thank you, Dan. Thank you so
No,
much. I feel honored. This is definitely the result I would get anyway. So this is perfect. Take a deep breath. Yeah. And also like number one, take a deep breath. That's so easy, right? Like you're not giving anything away, but at the same time, you're really helping your person out. Slow down, take a deep breath. Everything is going to be awesome. Yeah, love it. You have a chat in the, Ellen says, Dan, where is this copy on your quiz? So Ellen, this is one of the results somebody would get after taking the quiz. Yep. All right, let's see that bio. Love the picture.
Yeah, this is the part that's always weird to write.
Very cool. Yeah, I like it. And I wonder even, Dan, like the last sentence that you say, there's nothing I love more than high-fiving my clients when they crush their big goals, right? Let's just say I skipped this part and went to the next header, something like ready for the biggest high five ever, take these next steps, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
But also what you have also works, looking for some quick wins. Yes.
Yeah, I love that. This is why I'm looking so forward to sharing this.
Yeah, and then I think I would say, Dan, yeah, ready for that high five. Here are some quick wins for your video content journey.
So because this one's an eager beginner, these things are dedicated right to them. And I thought that was cool. It's just an image that clicks out to my YouTube video.
Yes, perfect. And you're able to link that image so that when they click it.
I clicked on it and put a link in, but I haven't tested it yet. So I even have to do that part.
Let me know. I'm curious because I believe the last time I tried to do this, it didn't work. If it doesn't, what you could do is link here is a great starting point. Yep. Right. But I really love this idea, especially for beginners, of just giving them one video to start with.
Yep.
Erica, yeah, I see your hand is raised.
Oh my goodness, I love all of this so much. It's so exciting. But Dan, I do have one suggestion, maybe a consideration based on feedback that I believe I was feeling, and then I brought it up in a previous class, and also something that may help you with your email sequence. Aria, can you please stop it? It's really loud. Thank you. There's a lot of stuff that they get to do afterwards, but what if it was something where you use this to kind of like break out your email sequence, you know, instead of all three things at once, maybe you give them the one video to start with, because it's already a lot of information. But then I don't know if you're building out your email sequence right now, these could be like follow-up things that could help them in their journey. And I think that may help the process, like help the watching process later, but then it'll also help your YouTube channel and stuff, and getting them used to like subscribing. If they get 3 really good videos 3 different days, then they might as well subscribe, and then that could help you get like them get information, and you new subscribers along the way as well.
Yeah, no, that's super helpful. And I'm So this is going in the community. The what's happening now between you and I will happen there even further, and then the email sequence will be, as far as the copywriting portion of it, will be written out. So great information, because that's what I need, is to know how you guys are feeling when you look at this, because I know how I feel, and that's not important. Yeah, and this was part of the template, but I really think this could be powerful for me once I know the results someone got, to have a quick discovery call with them, because I do that all the time in my business anyway.
The one thing, okay, perfect. Book your call now. I see it on the bottom. I was just going to say, how would they book the call? Okay, that's perfect. And then I like how we talked about this in week 2 with your results pages of like, tell the people what is going to happen next, especially if they don't click on book your call, right? So like, what should they expect next? And you tell them exactly that. As you go to write out your email sequence, Dan, when you have like the thing that you're going to be sending them in the first email, I think you could update this last part to mention that specifically, as opposed to just like curated and valuable content and information. It's like, I'm going to send you this thing. This absolutely works for now. I would not stress about that at all. Work on, like, get this out there. People are going to start taking it. You're going to work on your email sequences, and then you can come back and see what are people doing from this page. And once you kind of flesh out, okay, these are the emails that I'm going to be sending them, this video, maybe it's this video specifically you're going to get, like what Erica was saying, then you could title that exactly, like, here's the video you're going to get, and cut maybe a little bit of like, here's why, right, to get you started and on their way.
So good. Yeah. Like I just wanted to show you guys the top, and the fact that we're doing some live workshopping right now is awesome. So all great ideas, all ways to trim the fat and really entreat people to stick around for the email. So I love it.
Yeah. No, I love it. I think this is really, really great. And so, okay, I just want to make sure. So you're going to get feedback on this page, and then you're going to copy that into the other results. Are you changing out, like, for example, I think you have in that first resource that you link at the bottom, you give a specific video. Do you have other videos that you're thinking of linking for the other people?
Yeah, exactly.
Very
and
cool.
Yep. So that'll be different in each one, but having this template will make it so fast for me. So
yeah, very cool. And I'm also a big fan of like when you're asking someone to check out a channel or your podcast or whatever, giving them one specific video, one specific episode, one specific blog post to look at. Because when you invite them to your channel, that's great, right? Especially if they go and do it. But maybe I'm just talking about myself, but especially for the beginner, you don't want them to be overwhelmed of like, oh my God, he has 50 episodes. Which one do I even start with? You know, if you give them one, then they're starting with the best one for them, and they're very likely to go find and listen to other ones too.
Yeah.
Awesome
And
job,
this
Dan.
is the beginning of that, like put it out there and tweak later, right? So
exactly.
I talk about video in a segment in everything from episode 50 on, but they have not been released yet. So what I started thinking is, so this is a placeholder, obviously, but I want to get it out there. But what I started thinking was, I need to go into my pool of video pros and just have one of them on and talk just video for one episode. So I can link that episode to people who take this quiz. So it's already like creating new content ideas too for me.
Yeah, very cool. And especially for those of you that are just getting started, like maybe you don't even have any offerings yet, just getting your quiz out there to see what result people are getting, how they're answering certain questions, doing a little bit of market research from within the quiz will help let you know which podcast episode to record first for these people, right? Which offer you should create to provide the most amount of value for the most people that you're working with. So I think that's a great idea. And all back to why this is an iterative process and why it does not need to be perfect when you first launch it.
Ellen, I saw you had a question. I don't think I understood it, so I wanted to ask real quick.
Oh, Ellen, I think you asked where's this copy on your quiz. Is that the question you're looking at, Dan?
Yeah. No, this is great. This looks really good, Dan. Jackie answered it. This was your reply, because it was showing up. I wasn't sure. Am I talking very loud because I have these ear pods and I've never
No,
used
you're
them
good,
before.
Ellen.
I can't even hear I don't even know I'm screaming. But are these are you able to do this right in the interactive, or you would do that on the side? Because I do my follow-up comes from something else.
Hold on, Ellen. So
That makes
these, what we
sense?
just, yes, what we just looked at from Dan was the actual results page. So someone's going to answer the questions, they're going to choose to leave their email or not, and then they're going to get this result. This is different than the email sequence that would be sent after somebody takes the quiz.
But is this prepped on the site or is this separate? You can do this in Try Interactive?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I think, Ellen, because you had your quiz written for you, I think when they created your quiz, what your quiz does is redirect the results. So the results page that you just looked at, Dan's are built within the Interact Builder. Yours, I think, are written on your own URLs. And so when someone takes the quiz, rather than getting the Interact page, they're automatically redirected to the page that you've created on your URL, and that's the result that they're seeing. Does that sound right?
I honestly, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I'm gonna have to go back. The person that did this for me is long gone. So I've got to, I'm trying to understand it now.
Okay. Yep. So I think that's the difference. Yours are on your own URLs, but yes, when someone takes the quiz, Dan created his results pages within the builder. And that's what I would suggest doing for especially anybody getting started, or just
Okay.
if you're ready to like get your quiz out there and launch it. Keep it simple, write the results pages in the builder. I know Erica's pages are built on her own URL. So there's like a specific URL to the different result that you would get. And that's really great because her page looks totally different. It looks just like her website.
Yeah.
But also you can get more tracking when you build it on your own URL. And you can also, what I had mentioned earlier was if you wanted to remind somebody of the result they got in the email, you could send them the URL to the result they got. Whereas Dan can't do that right now, unless Dan, you wanted to do that through like a Google Doc or something.
Yeah, actually, my plan is to start here exactly like you said, and then move it to my website after I get my my bearings. Yeah.
Yep. Love it. Love it.
Well, thanks for letting me share, guys. That was fun.
Thank you for sharing, Dan.
Great.
I think this was the first group that I've ever coached that was so willing to get live, candid feedback and share your examples and really chat through like what you all are thinking and doing. And I just, this is one of my, this was my favorite session, I think, like of coaching, because that happened throughout all of the 5 weeks. And that really makes such a big difference. And it also gives you all the confidence that you need to know that this quiz is good enough and you can go out there and publish it. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. You're amazing.
Thank you so much
You're
for
really
doing this.
fabulous, Jackie.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you. And don't forget, if other questions come up, if you want to join future coaching sessions, if you want to host an expert session on something specifically like Erica, who is tomorrow on Joy, come to it. You can all do that. So stay in touch. Just because the 5 weeks of coaching is over doesn't mean that we're not supporting you anymore. We are here for you. We're in the community. You can always come back to coaching. So I'm just super, super excited to see what you all come up with for your quizzes, the results that you get. We also look for case studies to feature on our website. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, or if you have really great results that you want to show off, let us know, because we are all about partnering together and really helping each other so that everybody wins.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jackie.
Good to meet
I have
everyone.
a question. Oops.
Yeah.
Hi, Ellen. Sorry. Nice meeting you too. I wanted to ask, after this is over, now that it is over, so sad. It went by so fast.
It goes by so fast.
I'm like, when you said the last class, I was like, bro, what do you mean? We just got started. Where would we still be able to find it in the links that you shared in the emails?
Are you talking
Like, will
replay?
they stay there forever? Yes.
Yeah, the replays won't expire anytime soon. I don't know. So we build those landing pages off of HubSpot, and I don't know if like eventually, once we have too many, if we have to start recycling them or whatnot. But I feel like if we did that, we would absolutely announce it. So yes, the landing page that you have, I'll add week 5 in today. You'll probably get it tomorrow morning. And then, yeah, you can go back and watch any of the sessions at any time, come into the coaching channels, the different coaching spaces at any time, or rejoin coaching, whatever it is that you need. And you all know that we're all about feedback. So if there's something else that you'd love to see here, if when you hit publish or you're going to launch your quiz, you want more support in something, or that you'd like to see in coaching, in the community, in the builder, let us know what that is, because we're all about making that happen. Cool. All right, everybody. Well, you all have a great day. I'm also sad, like Erica, like I said, this really was my favorite class because there was so much engagement. It was really conversations every week. It wasn't just like me talking to myself, which sometimes happens. So I appreciate you all so much. And I hope you stick around in the community because I really can't wait to see the results that you're all getting. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you all. Bye-bye.